shock and awe with that third place game. Let's talk about that. By the way, we're going to look ahead because 2026 may not be over, but we're going to look to 2030 and we're going to talk about who we believe are locks for the Canadian roster. Yes, that's how far we're going to look ahead. But before we even get into the third place game, let's talk about this final. So as we know, Argentina, they are the reigning champions. They won it in 2022. The last time before that, 1986. Spain, they've made only one other final. That was 2010. And pretty good. They're batting at 100 here because they won in 2010. Is this the dream matchup for you here, Wheels, when you just look at these two teams right now?
Well, it's the first time that a European champion has ever taken on a Copa America winner in a World Cup final. So this is historic in a way. Of course, the emergence of Lamine Yamal as potentially the face of the game, I think in a lot of people's eyes, could very well be just that for the next decade, taking on the outgoing player who's really been in the spotlight above and beyond everyone else in Lionel Messi. I think it has a lot of attributes that make this game a must watch, and where there are plenty of storylines to kind of dig into. I think stylistically, it might not be the best game that we could see in this World Cup. I mean, we've seen Spain when they play bigger and better competitions, kill off the game at times. Argentina, until they went behind against England, were dead set on doing the same thing. So it all just depends. I mean, where the game's being played at in New York, outside, bad air quality. If it slows down the game and makes it a little bit more stop-start than we'd like to see, then maybe it won't be the kind of the best possible matchup. But on paper, I think the argument can easily be made, Andy, that these are the two best teams at this World Cup, and they're deserved of their places in the final.
I think also the football gods wanted it that way. Like if you're thinking about Spain, a younger team that hasn't been there since 2010, and you're looking at the players that they have in their squad as well, the fact that, you know, for years to come, they'll probably be playing for their country and being at other World Cups. But then you have a country in Argentina that just feels like their destiny, right? Like obviously France were a favorite and England, but Argentina and Spain, for many people, they felt like this was going to be the collision course. This was going to be the time that they met, was in that final, because they're just two strong nations, two strong teams. So in one way, if you're just a neutral, there's something to love regardless about this match, right? Whether it's Lamine Yamal and Spain and how they've played and the unbeaten record, or if you're Lionel Messi, right, to go to back-to-back, like the storylines are there, and that's what we want. But I just think I really just have a feeling that Spain is going to do some damage tomorrow. I really do. When I say damage, meaning win the game, not like win 3-0. But I think they'll take care of Argentina.
I was chatting with some people during the third place game here today. Just what game, if it was for a World Cup final, that you would prefer to see? Would you have preferred to watch France and England? How France plays a much more open style with the four players in attack who are out of this world, against England, aside that when they don't have the handbrake fully pulled up, thank you very much, Thomas Tuchel, have players that are really good at getting out in transition, a lot of pace, a lot of legs in that team as well, versus two teams that maybe play a different style. So although Spain have only conceded one goal, they just don't have some of the flashy, like top players that they had in the past, especially when they won in 2010. Even at that tournament, I don't think they played great football, but they had great players and a great mentality. Kind of feel similar with this Argentina team. They've arguably the greatest player of all time and a really good team around him that just really plays for that star player. But are they an entirely perfect, great, watchable team all the time? I'm not quite sure about that. Maybe it'll make for a great final. Like I said, Andy, there's enough storylines to like feast on for days, but how the actual game will play out, I'm a little bit more on the fence about that one, about what it may actually look like.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting because Argentina has had some great come from behind wins, but we also know that Spain has just conceded once. I mean, this is a team who can really smother you as well and shut you down defensively. It's going to be a game of chess. And speaking of those big names, even from 2010, the amount of players you could name on that, and we keep talking about Lamine Yamal because he is the main face of Spain. One goal. It's actually Mikel Oyarzabal who's leading the team with 5 goals, which is pretty interesting here. By the way, Kylian Mbappe in that third place game has now overtaken Messi for the Golden Boot race. Messi's gonna have to score some goals here because he's
no fries.
Yeah, so he's that's right, 10 now, 10 goals, 4 assists
no
for Kylian Mbappe. Messi 8 goals, 4 assists. Tactically, though, Jordan, do you think either,
Mm.
like, which team has an advantage? Do you think one does here?
Difficult question to answer, but I would say Spain if I had to, just because we've seen a Spain side that's just so relentless. They have the record of the quickest, they're the quickest team to win back the ball out of possession. And I think that's going to bode well, obviously, in a final. I know Wheels mentioned air quality as well, which will be a thing, but they're a team that's younger legs. I think that they honestly want it more. They grind hard. For each other. There's just something about Argentina as well when you look at their team that it doesn't take much for them to get on the board. Like it takes a glimmer, a little glimpse. Like if you look at the game against England, for the majority of the match, you're like, okay, well, England might have this under control, but Argentina can just pull something out. They have those difference makers. But what I like about Spain is that they really defend as a unit. They're split. They're not just a team that's going to go forward and really try to possess the ball, which they do really well. They are just relentless in how they want to win it back. And I think that in a final, you have to be the team that controls the moment, controls the tempo. Spain are the best to do that. Argentina, the counter, is that they just have those guys as well that can just punch above they can just go to sleep for a little bit and then all of a sudden step up, right? Step up for 2, 5, 10 minutes and take over a game. Spain have to be aware of that, but I do like that they're so dominant in possession and they work together as a team. I think they can actually do it tomorrow because of that and their principles that they possess.
I'm not betting against Argentina. I just can't. It's a fool's game. They're the champions. I love their mentality. Argentina's mentality is what it should be. It's we're going to outscore our opponent, not necessarily control the game. They win the moment, and they do it all the time with such relentless and just fierce passion and desire to actually win. That's a skill, and this team simply has the nuances, the attributes to just, they just know how to win. And you got to respect that. They've scored 19 goals in this tournament. That's incredible. No team has scored more before today. I mean, France and England went sideways, but 19 goals coming into this one. They've scored twice in every game World Cup match dating back to their first game of the last World Cup against Saudi Arabia, which is ridiculous. They've conceded in their last 5 games here at the World Cup, but it doesn't matter. They have enough in it to go on and win the game. I just think that they are the one thing that they have that France doesn't have, and I know we're going to get into a little bit more. They are built through strength in the midfield. When Spain beat France, they had Rabiot and Tchouaméni. Rabiot picked up an early caution. Tchouaméni isn't fully fit, and that 2-man midfield was overrun by Spain, by Rodri, by Fabian Ruiz. By the way, Fabian Ruiz, he's played 50 games now for Spain. They've never lost when he's been on the field. Isn't that incredible? Not when he started games. When Fabian Ruiz plays, Spain hasn't lost a game. Just think about that. That is insane. And then Danny Olmo. Like, now when you have Paredes, when you have McAllister, who looks like a 10 times better than McAllister that played for Liverpool last year, Enzo Fernandez, like, there's good balance, there's some grit, there's technique, there's players able to hold on to the ball. I think it's going to be a very different matchup for Spain. They controlled that game against France far too easy. I don't think that there's the outlet here. And by the way, that guy, Lionel Messi, he has a history playing in Spain. He knows the style. He knows these players. He knows the Barcelona way. He understands what Real Madrid play. He understands Spanish football. So I'm not betting against Argentina in this one. Just like Spain, I think we're underappreciated in the build-up to their game against France. I think Argentina are a little bit underestimated going into this World Cup final.
What are some matchups you're keeping an eye on here, Jordan, and you think could be an exciting matchup to watch?
Yeah, I think for a neutral, and I think people are loving this game, regardless where you are, you're going to notice the midfield tomorrow. And you're looking at Rodri, for me, that obviously is going to be the staple. I know there are other players for Spain and how they work together and the fluidity that matter, but for me, he's a pillar. Then Enzo Fernandez, if you want a highlight of a ball well struck, and people could talk about, oh, should England's keeper have saved it? Regardless, he can produce a big moment, but he is just a box-to-box type of player, and he's just very exciting. And the way that they move. So I think the midfield in general is going to be an area that I'm going to be watching very closely, whether that be McAllister and Paredes in the midfield, those two, and Messi kind of floats and Fernandez kind of comes in as well and helps out sometimes. But you look at this as well with Spain, Rodri was kind of the lone midfielder, the 6. And you have Ruiz. Wheels mentioned it. He's been fantastic throughout this tournament. Olmo as well, that can go forward and produce a moment. But these guys play that tiki-taka football. These guys know how to move the ball, but they work so well together. It doesn't matter who's tracking back. They suffocate their opponents. And I think what we're going to see tomorrow is that's what you got to do against Messi. He gets kicked and he doesn't really get flustered. He's been kicked his whole career, right? He kind of goes down and people are kind of searching for him. But Spain, what I like about them is that they just go like a pack of wolves, man. They really just hunt together. So that midfield tomorrow is going to be a huge thing. Rodri leading that midfield. But yeah, I think that's where the game's going to be won or lost.
Interesting. Yeah, the midfield is key. Rodri has been outstanding in this tournament. A few weeks ago, we said he was worthwhile a shout for the golden ball, the player of the tournament. He's the anchor in the midfield, which will drive attacking players crazy considering how many goals have been in this tournament. But Rodri's been the player that's pulled the strings for Spain. And if they go out and win, a lot of the credit will go to his play, the organization, and how he leads from the midfield. And Enzo Fernandez, like that technique on that goal that he scored against England was fantastic. He's also scored the match winner against Egypt as well. He's been really good in this tournament. It seems like he has license to drop deep at times and then push forward at times. I'm interested to see how Spain are going to try to deal with Lionel Messi, because you can't man mark him. You're not going to say Rodri go sit on Lionel Messi. Like we've seen players and teams try to do that before. It never works out because Messi draws too much attention. Then it opens up space for other players. What you need to do is limit his time and space once he gets on the ball. Like that's it. Deny service to the other midfield players. And then when Messi gets it, you can't allow him to turn, run into space. So you always need to take an eye. But does that mean that the center backs need to step up and play a little bit higher? And if they do that, what does that mean? Because Julian Alvarez has got better as this tournament has gone on. I know he was anonymous at times against England, scored a really nice goal against Switzerland as well. Of course, he plays for Atletico Madrid, plays in La Liga. He knows these center backs. Laporte's, he's had a decent enough World Cup, but he's playing in Saudi. I think like he's a step slow, a step off. Kubarsi's just a teenager. Like how that mix between the Spanish midfield, how they try to contain the game, control the game, and contain Messi with the center backs, and what that may open up for Argentina. That for me is going to be a significant storyline here. And whether Argentina and Scaloni maybe try to add a little bit more width to the team, try to challenge Spanish fullbacks that get high, and maybe that opens up a little bit more space for Lionel Messi. So Jordan's right on in terms of his kind of matchup and players that he's keeping an eye on. But I think what happens in behind is going to be very interesting as well.
I think quickly before we move on too, I think Spain learn from the mistake of England, right? Like everyone's like, oh, Messi left foot. He was drifting out to the right because he saw that there was space, but it's fine for me if Messi's getting the ball in the middle of the pitch. Once you get 30 yards away from goal, to your point, Wheels, you cannot allow him to get his head down and to produce a moment because he's walking around. There was stats, 47% of the match that he's walking, just scanning, looking for areas to go and exploit. And his team knows that. They run for him. So if you're Rodri, if you're any player for Spain, it's not about him in the middle of the pitch. He's not going to hurt you there. It's as soon as he gets into your half, you got to get a body on him because it doesn't take much for Messi to produce that magic.
When I look back at our conversation after that Argentina-England game, and all we did was talk about Thomas Tuchel, to me, the interesting matchup is going to be De La Fuente and Scaloni, because your managers have to make the right decisions, the right substitutions, the tactics, the formation, and everything. So I'm really curious to see that matchup, because I have to imagine if you're De La Fuente as well, you're probably looking, and if you're also just, Spain, you're looking at that Argentina-England game and you're saying, Argentina didn't really want to play in the beginning, did they? I mean, there were a lot of fouls, the way they were going after England. And of course, England strikes first. And then it ended up, as there seems to be a consensus, it ended up being some mismanagement by the manager that turned things around here. So if you're also just Spain here, Wheels, are you kind of looking at like Argentina, did they even, like, what kind of shenanigans are they going to come out with as well in this final, given how they played against England, especially in that first half?
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to pivot to Scaloni because Argentina were terrified by England's speed and pace. And where you looked at where that would be coming from in the Spanish side, it's Lamine Yamal down that right-hand side. So just Tagliafico started at left back for Argentina. And if he does, where does the help come from? And what does that look like? Like if I'm Scaloni in Argentina, I'm looking to make it a no contest in the first half as much as you can. That's the way that Argentina will control the game, by persistent fouling, by killing the play, by stoppages. I think that that's how they manage the game, and then allow Messi and the other stars to take advantage of the moments a little bit later on. De La Fuente doesn't necessarily want that. De La Fuente wants his team to be more reactive. He hopes that Argentina is on the ball a little bit more, where Spain can like really pick their spots to press and take advantage of the inherent weaknesses across the Argentine back line. That's really where the weaknesses are. Romero and Lisandro Laika Martinez, they're good center backs, but they're not really worried all that much about what's behind them. It's more about what's in front of them. And I think that he knows that. So it's about being able to exploit space. So if they're able to move Argentina around to a certain degree and then play very quickly in transition, I think Spain, it suits their game a little bit more. I just don't think that this is going to be a Spanish side. Like Jordan, you mentioned tiki-taka. Yes, I mean, Spain can play that intricate passing play, but they're just so good without the ball, and they're so good reacting to the game rather than necessarily just staying on the ball. Like they were happy to give France the ball for long stretches during the semifinal, and they just closed off channels, made life difficult. They slowed down the game and kept it when they had to, but they were really good when they picked up the tempo in transition, started to play that way. So both styles are counterintuitive to what the other team wants to do. That's why I question like how watchable or how good this game is going to be for the neutral, because it just could be a really slow burn until things maybe open up with a goal in the second half. That's kind of the way I'm looking at things playing out.
It's a chess match. Absolutely, it's a chess match, because I also think too, Argentina has never really pressed. They're in like a low block kind of. They don't sit everyone back, but Messi doesn't press. Alvarez is up there kind of chilling. So what does Spain do? Do you want to keep the ball and get them tired and just move it? Or to your point, Wheels, do you almost want to have Argentina have the ball a little bit more, wait for that moment and try to knock them with the punch? It's going to be, to your point, Trills, Andy, it's going to be very interesting what these managers, what they prioritize tomorrow. Because I still think even though Argentina, you could argue, is better on the ball, Spain is still very, very good at possessing and keeping the ball and honestly killing off teams. But what they've added and what's allowed them to get to this point is the fact that they'll let teams get some confidence. We saw it with France, Olise, top players, Mbappe. As soon as they got the ball, boom, they were on them and they were going the other way quickly because they have the quality to do that. But what do you do with a team that doesn't really press you and center backs that are going to have time? Do you play a bit higher? Do you play a bit more direct? These are the things that I'm looking out for early in the match to see how Spain adjusts and what they're really trying to impose on the game, because they could do both. But what will be their intention tomorrow?
Just want to mention, Andy, really quickly, like it's really fitting that both these managers reside from their respective countries. De La Fuente is Spanish, and Scaloni is Argentine. No manager, no foreign manager for the respective countries gone on to win a World Cup. So it's going to hold true that teams that have managers from within their own country are the ones that win. And beyond that, these guys are specialists. Like De La Fuente had like a cup of coffee. He managed, I think it was Alaves for like 3 months. That is the extent of his professional club football head coaching career as a head coach. Scaloni has zero experience. These guys are experts in the international game. That's why their style of play is conducive. We see other managers, Mopo, others, Jesse Marsh, like they're trying to bring their club tactics and style to the international game. And it's always that much more difficult because oftentimes you need to be with those players day in, day out for weeks on end in order to get the players properly drilled to your style of play. These managers don't need that. They're perfect for the international game. They spend time within the youth ranks of their country. I think a country like Canada, we can learn a lot from like coaching development and how that works, because both of these managers, again, you're not hiring like a Mourinho or an Ancelotti or someone that's like a household name in club football. You're grooming within and bringing these managers up within. And look, now they're going to be managing the biggest game, and both of them are excellent at what they do, and arguably the two best at this tournament as well. So here we go again. It's the same story that works. It's a recipe for success each and every World Cup.
That stat, though, too, about the coaches and being of the same nationality of the team, and they're the only ones who have won, is mind blowing. Let's take a look at a quote. So, Emi Martinez, this is Argentina's goalkeeper. This is somebody you want to talk about here, Wheels, because he basically said, if we were to win back to back World Cups, this is where I retire. Hopefully, his celebration with the trophy will be different this time around. But what say you of him and him saying that?
Well, I don't, he's a big character, so he might just be saying that. Who you never know with Emi Martinez. It looked like he was trying to make his way out of Aston Villa last year, and he came back in. I'm more concerned about what kind of performance we might see from him tomorrow, because I think that unquestionably he is one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. And another superpower that could come into play tomorrow is his ability to save penalties. He's an excellent shot stopper in penalties, and that is Spain's kryptonite. Spain over recent years, although they've been entirely successful in the field, where they've shown weakness is in penalties. And if this one ends up going to penalties with Emi Martinez as the goalkeeper, it absolutely swings into the favor of Argentina. So I think he could play a big role. Of course, in the last World Cup, which is a goal fest, he came up with maybe the moment of the game with the big stop on Kylian Mbappe. But that was one of the highlights of that World Cup final in Qatar. So he's a big game goalkeeper, and I'm going to be keeping. I'm not so sure about the flag and the hair. It's very like 1980s. I felt like that's what we were doing back in the day, Andy. Like painting the hair, getting something shaved in the side of your head, but whatever. I'll leave him alone. He's an excellent goalkeeper. It could have a big day tomorrow.
Not me.
Maybe he's retirement game.
I don't know what you were doing. That was not me. I just had all the
stuff
like,
in your hair.
Well, I had a lot of barrettes and stuff. I had the crazy,
Oh.
little barrettes with the little fishies in them, and it just looked like things were floating. Yes, okay, I did that, but I didn't actually touch my hair in some crazy way. We've seen this in sport, which is pretty cool. Oftentimes there's, a player who goes on to become professional and then says, hey, look, back in the day, I took a photo with someone who's like a legend. But this is just wild that these two are coming together at a World Cup final. The chances of this. So this is 19 years after the fact. Here's Messi when he himself was a teenager and had this photo shoot with the cutest, chubbiest little baby whose cheeks I just want to bite. And that, of course, is Lamine Yamal. So, I mean, you look at this, of course, they talk about the photo is crazy because, Messi's like, I just can't believe it. And now here we are facing each other in a World Cup final. There have been funny photos, like some people that's been going viral heading into this. They keep talking about, the person who's the ruler who doesn't take care of the baby when he should have, and then the baby comes back and takes the rules. So they're showing Harry Potter, right, not being destroyed by Voldemort, and how Harry Potter comes back and destroys him. You got the whole Lion King theme. I mean, there are people being some clever. They're like, yo,
They're going
Messi,
in.
maybe you should have taken care of the baby back then. He's gonna come back. He's gonna get you now. But just how crazy is this, right? Because even though France lost, Jordan, there was a little moment there in 2022 where it was kind of like Mbappe came onto the scene. He and Messi trading goals in that final was something special. It was incredible to see. Yamal just has one goal in this tournament, but it really has been a team effort, as we know, by Spain. But do you kind of see this as it could possibly be a passing of a torch moment here too, if Yamal ends up having himself a great game?
Yeah, it could be. And I think too, I think this has a bigger context based on this tournament and the people that have probably played their last World Cup, right? You're looking at the Neymars, Cristiano Ronaldo, I would say Lionel Messi. These are guys that for the past 15, 20 years, you revered, you talked about. You're like, it didn't matter whether it was Messi wearing 19 with the long hair or when he wore 10 and it was his show. You were just dialed in, right? It's the same with Cristiano Ronaldo, whether he was wearing 17 or when he got to 7. You watch the journey. It's going to be the same with Lamine Yamal. That's what it is. And you're also the same with Kylian Mbappe. He's already there, but even Erling Haaland, I thought Norway this time. That's what happens. You kind of watch these players. So it makes sense that now that Messi is 39 and he bathed Lamine Yamal when he was just a little kid as well, you're looking at this as passing the torch, because that's what it is. Barcelona connection as well. These two players that love that club and have stepped up in a big way. So it makes sense. The thing is, though, is that what sticks out to me is that Messi is already such an incredible footballer, and what he's done is immense. But like to go and do back to back, there's no passing of the torch. Like that is difficult to do. Like that, there's only a select few. Where with Pele, like that is different type of gravy. And I get it. People are talking about Egypt and the fact that Argentina maybe they shouldn't be here and all these things. The fact that he is still at 39 pulling the strings, and for me is the best player at this tournament, you got to just give this guy his flowers, right? Lamine Yamal is a fantastic young winger, and he's going to have a bright future and a great career. But there's one Lionel Messi. We have to just give this guy credit and give him his flowers. And if he goes and does the back-to-back tomorrow, yeah, like the debate is over. He is that guy. He is him if he can go and do that and bring Argentina to back-to-back success. Like that is unheard of, and that's unprecedented.
Yeah, the way that you start writing that Lionel Messi story, if you're Lamine Yamal, I mean, you're already doing it at club level for Barcelona, albeit in a very different way. His game is predicated on speed and power and dynamic play. Obviously, we already know how special Messi is for his mind, his ability, just the way that he just controls games. But how you start changing the script is you win a World Cup. That's what it comes down to. And that's why Messi mania is still as prominent as ever, maybe even more so. And it's not because he's playing for Inter Miami. It's because he's running the show, or he has been running the show at this World Cup. Like kids that have been watching this World Cup, and there's been a lot of them in North America, they're out on the playground, they're out on the fields, and they're Lionel Messi. They're idolizing Lionel Messi still, a 39-year-old player who's not blessed with the physical traits of a Lamine Yamal. But tomorrow, if Yamal steals the show, then you start those kids start being Lamine Yamal on the field a little bit more and a little bit quicker. If he can do this as the best player on Spain at 19 years of age, I mean, that is historic category. That is something that Lionel Messi was unable to do as a 19, 20-year-old with Argentina. And sometimes it's not just on the player, it's on the team around them. But it's very rare for a 19-year-old to be the best player on his team and then go on and win the World Cup. That's the territory that Yamal is going into this game. So quickly, he's already become an icon. Like Spain win Euros, his career has gone like this. Add a World Cup to it, look out. Like, honestly, look out. Mm-hmm. And as much talent is in that French side, the Spain side is in a position to win over the long haul as well. So, yeah, it could be. I think it's more so, how does that Messi novel, how does that final chapter play out? Lamine Yamal, his book is just beginning, but to me, it's more about how Messi's story ends. And does it end with Lamine Yamal stealing the show, or does it end on a high, that fairy tale ending for Lionel Messi with yet another World Cup win? It's a fantastic storyline either way that it's written. But if you're a Messi fan and a Messi supporter right now, there's only one way that you want to see the story end.
There may be kids wearing the Messi jersey, but I'm telling you right now, I'm willing to make a very massive bet that come Halloween, there will be more Erling Haalands than Lionel Messi's. Oh, okay, because everyone wants to wear the blonde wig. Gareth, get ready for it. Get ready for it. Everyone's wearing the blonde wig and the Norwegian kit. Now, just so everyone at home knows this, Wheels insisted, and I'm saying insisted, that this topic be included in the show today.
I did. Nice. Suggestion box.
Halftime show. I want to talk about the halftime show, is what he said. He's so excited when he heard Madonna, Shakira. Then he texted everyone. He was so happy Justin Bieber got named to that group as well. They're going to be headline the first ever Super Bowl. A very American style halftime show, as we know, guys, here at the World Cup. We're seeing a lot of firsts here at this World Cup. How do you feel about this, Gareth? Do you like this kind of Super Bowl style halftime show?
I am going to surprise people here, I think.
Okay.
I'm oftentimes accused as being old man winter. You guys know that's not true. I'm a fun guy. I like to have a great time. I'm all loud. You guys can vouch for that. I just happen to be opinionated. But for a change, I'm fully supportive of this halftime show. Now, the problem is, I think that it's going to have a knock-on effect on the way that the game is being played. This is the problem. But we've already opened up Pandora's box with the hydration breaks. This World Cup is being played in games that have featured 4 quarters. So now if we add a Super Bowl style halftime show, we've already gone halfway there. We might as well just go all the way. That's how I feel about this. And so if we're going to take a 30-minute break, it's going to give the players much more time to rest, relax. Hopefully they come out with more legs and energy in the second half. But the trade-off is some sensational entertainment. I'm a huge Madonna fan. Madonna's songbook rivals anyone, any band, any artist on the planet.
Wheels, I had this conversation with our dear friend Oliver Platt, and he argued against.
I know.
Thank you.
I remember, and we said, and
he
I
needs to
hope
learn
people
some
in the
respect.
chat, we can get a poll. We said Rihanna against Madonna, and I was with Ollie. I think Rihanna could actually. No,
I love Rihanna.
She has hits.
I love
Rihanna's great, but it's just it's Madonna.
I get it. But listen, we're talking about hit for hit. That's all we were saying. I was arguing with Ollie too. I understand. I get it. Madonna back then, 80s, 90s, 2000s, like it doesn't matter what era.
Iconic.
I would love Rihanna
iconic.
in this halftime show too, but we got Shakira, the voice of the World Cup. I'm gonna miss that beautiful voice. I'm just gonna have to listen to the Daya Daya all day going forward. And the Beebs, some CanCon.
What's the song called?
It doesn't get much better than that. So we have sacrificed a lot for this World Cup. The tickets have been expensive. The travel has been arduous. 48-team World Cup, all the political nonsense, the Balogun situation, Infantino mucking around. You know what? I'm going to sit back and enjoy a halftime show. Some free entertainment for you and the world to sit back and enjoy. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. I don't want this to be the norm, but on this occasion, Wheeler is going to be voguing with everyone else.
Oh, wow. Do we get to witness that? Because we're going to be watching the game together. Right after it is the final Bet365 for the win right here on One Soccer. 6:30 p.m. ET will be up after that final, which goes at 3 Eastern.